extremely fulfilling for me. And signed Henry Hank Purnell. Former Chief Purnell was one of the original Hillview Study Committee members, and had served on the commission since its inception, with the exception of 1 year. He had a little hiatus there, not by choice, but through all the political turmoil, and served with dignity, and has served extremely well. We're extremely grateful for his public service as a member of the commission. Myself and the chairman had the privilege of serving with Hank for 12 years. And I can tell you unequivocally, he was a extremely active and valuable member of that commission, which, as a result of his actions and his steadfastness, has made that enterprise extremely successful. So I just want to publicly express my gratitude to Hank for his service on the Hillview Commission, for making it so successful. Again, he was one member sitting there who was not afraid to say no. And heaven knows, and the chairman knows very well, we've had dozens and dozens of proposals over the years to request for Hillview funds to undertake certain projects. And the commission over the years has taken a very measured approach to make sure that the enterprise remains viable. And Hank was a vital member of the commission in assuring that that took place over the years. And as a result of his service, he can take great pride in the fact that Hillview and the enterprise will be continuing to be a treasure of the community, and for generations to come and to enjoy. So to Hank, again, extremely grateful for his service. Wish him well and thank him very much, and regretfully accept his resignation. That being said, nothing else, Mr. Chairman. Maybe you want to comment, since you
Well said. I'll just comment that, the Hillview Commission from the very beginning treated it as a business. They broke the responsibilities of the 7 members into specific areas, and I believe Hank took care of the course.
The course and the facility, and oversaw the rebuilding of that course over the years.
And always had the interest of maintaining the course, because the course generated most of the revenue for the operation. And as a result, the history behind the Hillview has been nothing but a success, and Hank was one of, I think, there's only one other member.
There's only one other,
that was there at the very
chair.
beginning,
Yeah,
right,
that's
which is
George.
the
George is
current chairman.
Current chairman is the only other
So,
member of the existing
And
group.
George has been on it
Continuously since day one. Yeah.
So, the commission's gonna miss Hank, and I wish Hank well. I know that he's got some health problems, and hopefully he sees himself through this. So thank you to Hank, and I guess I'll take the time to thank all of the members of the commission for doing this volunteer job that has made that a success through the years. Anything else, Steve?
No,
Mr. Chair, if I can just jump off of that, on last Monday, I was up contributing to the receipts of Hillview on behalf of my son, who's golfed quite a bit this year, but it was just on the heels of Mr. Stack, I think, notifying Mr. O'Leary of this letter of resignation coming in. I spent some time talking to Mr. Stack up there, and he's educated me some more in terms of Hillview and how it started, and Hank's involvement since the outset. So I too want to wish Hank my gratitude, my thanks for his involvement over these last almost three decades of service. So I thank him, and I too wish him well.
I don't know Hank that well, but
that's a good thing.
yeah. But I know that historically he's a very important person within our community, and I too wish Hank well, and that his health does improve going forward. So.
Was that Steve? Mike?
All set.
Yes, as well as I would thank Mr. Purnell for all his years of service to the town. Much appreciated. Tomorrow night, teen art contest. Everybody get that email, and people at home, you have something to do. If you don't have something to do, come on down 6 p.m. at the town library. It's gonna be a teen art contest. I had a question, just a follow-up, Greg. You get any people sign up for the EDC notice that was in the paper?
I'm not aware of any additional applications at this point. I will check, I know that it's been advertised.
That's the Economic Development Committee, and for those listening at home, last week we didn't have the TV camera to be able to announce that we are we're officially formulating an Economic Development Committee, and for those that would be interested in participating on that committee, please come in here to Town Hall, go over to the town clerks and fill out a citizens activity request, and submit your name for consideration. We'd greatly appreciate it. And that's all I have.
Okay. The, John?
Yes, Mr. Valiakonis, a question regarding where we stand in terms of Police Chief Assessment Center. Where do we stand with that process?
Sure. The assessment center has been done. We had 2 members of the department that took it, and my understanding is they both have passed it. The results of the assessment center have not been final. There's an appeal period that they go through. My understanding is next week, those results do become final, so that we will then have an eligible list to draw from based upon that. However, my thought is at this time, we're looking to fill from the bottom up. So we've got 2 vacancies that we are going to be filling for permanent patrol officer. And then we have a number of acting appointments and permanent appointments to make that result from that. The last position to be filled will be the chief of police position. And that will coincide with Chief Nolan's retirement in early of 2012. And those people that pass the exam will be obviously the individuals that will be considered for the position.
I don't know if I
Fire, or did you ask-
Police. I said police.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that entire process, but I just wanted to know, at this point in time anyhow, the
Yeah.
assessment center, whether or not the results are in. But I'll refrain from commenting on, in terms of your thought process, in terms of the process of filling positions. I can notify the board, I did some research in terms of, I know the last meeting we had, my takeaway from the Civil Service Assessment Center was that, and I could have been wrong in my interpretation, it was the first time Civil Service had run an assessment center. My education now is that it's not the first time Civil Service has run their own assessment center, but that it's the first time we've been able to avail ourselves of it because of timing purposes. They have done it for the last 3 or 4 years, is what my understanding is. And the woman, Lauren Columbine, who oversees the Civil Service Assessment Center, also oversees the private company assessment centers. And I've also received pretty much the outline of what the candidates go through in terms of the process for the day in the assessment center. I think it's well worth, and I believe through the civil service, it doesn't cost the town a dime
That's right.
for that assessment center, unlike if we had hired our own private company
Which we
to
did
run it.
in the past.
Right. So I just wanted to pass along the information to the board that I received, and I'm much more comfortable with the Civil Service Assessment Center, the fact that they've run it for a number of years. And I also had the opportunity to speak to retired Chief Al Donovan from Tewksbury, who, talking with him, seems like he was one of the point people in terms of establishing the assessment center. So I'm very comfortable with the Civil Service Assessment Center. So just wanted to pass that along. In terms of fire chief and positions within the fire department, where do we stand with that process?
We have 2 positions in the fire department, 2 firefighter positions that we've requisitioned for. There have been interviews conducted with the fire chief and his team. I'm expecting to receive a recommendation from him this week on filling one of those positions. We then have, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head in terms of the other positions that are available. We will have since the deputy chief has been filled,
We will be filling with an acting appointment, we'll have an acting captain position to be filled. We have a certified list of candidates. There are 3 individuals whose name appear on that list, so that the acting captain will come from one of those 3 individuals. We have requisition for a deputy chief's exam. Excuse me, we're not requisitioned for a deputy chief's exam. We'll do so at some point coming up, and we have a delegation agreement with HRD for running an assessment center for fire chief. The date to be determined. We have to go through a process of hiring someone. We did not have the opportunity to avail ourselves through an assessment center for the fire chief position.
Thank you. I know some time ago, a few months back, we were talking about trash exemptions and modifying those that are able to receive the exemption. Where does that stand?
We can put it on the agenda, and any votes that are necessary of the board to modify the policy, we can take that up at the next meeting.
Do we have the appropriate information and the means to do that?
I'll make sure that it's there.
Yeah,
Okay,
if I
put it on
remember
the
correctly, I
agenda.
mean, this was going back some time ago, but I thought we had provided,
I think
I know
during the
I-
budgetary process, I think we had information that was collected
Yeah.
that we're,
yeah, I believe
be a
the
savings of about
information that went to
$10,000.
you.
Yeah, no, I remember the savings.
Right.
I was just wondering if we have the information so that we can create language to,
Right.
I think the language was
appropriately.
already submitted to the town administrator. It was supposed to be for senior citizens based on age and income.
age and income. Will be
That was it.
going to be the
That's what this
2
board talked about.
parameters.
I think I probably got it in my notes somewhere, but go back and look at the minutes. I mean, I think we all agreed that's what this,
If that's what we're gonna do. It's good. We'll schedule it for.
I don't even know why we have to schedule it. Why don't we just go do it?
Well, I think we need to vote on
I
it.
think it's gotta be a policy.
I thought
Policy
we already
decision.
voted on it.
No,
I don't think we took a
Yeah,
formal vote
I
on
don't think
it.
it got,
I think we endorsed the
Yeah, I don't think it
concept,
got
but we don't think we have the formal language.
I stand
But that's fine.
it'll be on our next agenda, Michael.
and I just want to notify the public, after our meeting 2 weeks ago, where it was not live or at all recorded, I spoke to Rob Carbone at NORCAM, and due to an internal miscommunication within NORCAM, that's why our meeting 2 weeks ago was not videotaped. He expresses his apologies to the community, as do I as a member of the board, because I know there's quite a few people, believe it or not, that actually sit and watch us every other Monday night. So I just want to notify the public
It
of that.
might be worthwhile to let him know that we're meeting on the Tuesday after Labor Day instead of the Monday.
I believe I gave him a schedule
Oh,
through
okay.
September. I'll
Okay.
add the other meeting in
Meeting on the
September,
19th,
but
yeah.
I'll stay in contact with Rob. So, once again,
Okay.
I apologize. And that's, I believe, all I have for this evening.
Jeffrey?
yes. First of all, I'd like to, not sure what the right word is, but I want to express my appreciation for Detective Encarnacio for, while off duty, as is reported in the transcript, had observed the vehicle that he had received information on that while on duty, and he had noticed it on, I believe it was Elm Street, parked in a residence, and he observed it. He called for some support on that, and fortunately, they were apprehended looking to break into the house. This was done while off duty, and it just goes to show you that detectives' work is 24/7. All of their expertise is always available to them, and they're always on the outlook for the community's safety. So I thank you for your looking after us, Detective Encarnacio. Also, the teen art contest that Mike mentioned earlier, I went to that last year. It's pretty incredible. The artistry in some of these children that you see at the library, that they will have tomorrow night. I believe, did you say it was 6:30? 6 o'clock, is really nice. It's really beautiful work, and I was, it wasn't the typical, they had little kids, middle school and high school kids do some work, and it was all very, very, very good work. Also, I'm a strong believer in the community, in the people of our community volunteering their services. the Economic Development Committee is going to be a very important committee within this town.